Now, the Southport shooting is one of two recent attacks in North Carolina that has gained some national attention recently. The first one being the August stabbing of Ukrainian refugee Iryna Zarutska on a rail train in Charlotte. Lawmakers in Raleigh passed a criminal justice reform bill named after Iryna, and today Governor Josh Stein signed it into law. WECT's Anaya Cromartie joins us now with a breakdown of House Bill 307, also known as Iryna's Law. Anaya, how do politicians say this bill will help make North Carolinians safer?
Well, Delaney, the purpose of this bill is to curb crime with stricter rules and changes in punishment for criminals. Many North Carolinians express concerns for public safety with recent crimes that have claimed lives in our state. This aims to take a closer look at cases with defendants who have a prior violent offense or a repeat criminal history. Here's a breakdown of the key elements in the bill. A new category of violent offense is created. First-time offenders charged with a violent offenses will have a secured bond or GPS monitoring. Now, judicial officials will have to order mental health evaluations for those charged with a violent offense or if they believe they pose a danger. And it sets timelines for appeals in death penalty cases and allows for alternative methods of execution. Here's what Governor Josh Stein says about his decision to sign.
When I review public safety legislation that comes to my desk, I use one simple test. Does it make people safer? House Bill 307, or Iryna's Law, alerts the judiciary to take a special look at people who may pose unusual risks of violence before determining their bail. That's a good thing and why I have signed it into law.
I've reached out to our local Republican and Democrat leaders to hear their take on the bill. One thing each side agrees on is something needed to be done to make sure everyone is safe. New Hanover County Republican Chairman John Hennett says it's important to strengthen punishment for the violent crimes.
I think it's a step in the right direction. I think it's important that it's not so much crime, it's to making sure we're punishing crime, because we don't need people with repeat violent offenses on the street. It's important that we lock these folks up until they're given a fair trial, and make sure the evidence is heard by a judge, not a magistrate.
In a statement from New Hanover County Democratic Chair Jill Hopman, she says in part, the New Hanover County Democratic Party supports bipartisan policy that addresses difficult, complex issues of public concern. She also goes on to say the problem with Iryna's Law, however, is that it's a band-aid for a bullet wound, quite literally. It focuses far too much on bail considerations instead of the court issues that lead to judicial intervention in the first place. And as a result, it does not actually make North Carolinians safer. Hopman says much more in this statement, and you can read that in full over on our website. Governor Stein hopes along with this bill, leaders can look for more ways to improve the safety in the state and give his comprehensive public safety package another look. Iryna's Law has now gone into effect. In the newsroom, Anaya Cromartie, WECT News.